Hi everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Ying's Squawk Box. Today in this episode, we're going to be talking about Tesla. So that's an interesting name. We're really talking about a cute small trade that you can profit on in the past week, and you can make a good amount of profit on that. For me, in this case, I got in this name just last week, and right now it's 20% up. 20% up, can you believe that? So really, this episode is about beta, how you take advantage of beta, how you take advantage of market volatility, and how you profit on that. So without further ado, let's get started. This is a daily chart for Tesla. As you can see, we have this pivot top. Let's put across. And then we have this drop, this correction along with the market, along with the pandemic, all the way to here in the mid-March, late March, and we're talking about March 18th. So let's put another cross. No one knows it's a bottom, okay? If I know that's a bottom, I would have put all my money in that stock, in that name, with 200% leverage. So there you go. That's pretty much the situation we're looking at. On the top, we're looking at $1,000. On the bottom, we're looking at about $400. So something like that, it's interesting. So things are pretty slow, right? During this period, we're trying to come back up, especially above 400 level and below $1,000 level. It's a pretty slow correction, especially for Tesla with that kind of volatility. I would say this is a good amount of time to digest what's going on out there with the news, with the politics. As you can imagine, they have a pretty volatile CEO, right? So with all that noise and information in the market, I would say that it makes sense for this name to take this long time. Anyway, all the way to here in June, in July, we broke out. Let's put across, boom. We broke out top, and we have this pivot top again in front of 1800. So let's put another cross, and that's essentially how this name worked out. Now, for me, I didn't touch anywhere in between this, right? I'm late, and I know I'm late, so I'm not gonna try to jump into the gun here. I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to pick my spot. So I waited till this day, July 24th, and that's essentially giving me a good signal that the stock probably needs a small correction. And when I say small correction, I'm talking about 1 to 2 weeks. It comes back down a little bit, moving average catch up, and it's perhaps time to go. So let's put across, boom. Now we can zoom in. And this is gonna be the area where I ditch daily chart and I zoom into perhaps hourly chart or even smaller. And just to act on the noise, to trade off the tape, to see how people are reacting to it. And it's really about supply and demand. So this is the hourly chart for Tesla. We talk about this top that's in front of $1,800 per share. We talk about this pivot low, and that's really about 1400, 1450-ish kind of price level. So obviously, I didn't buy it there. I observed that happen. I actually bought somewhere here. Let's put the trend line, boom. That's going to be the area I bought. And when I bought it, I say, hey, I don't know how things goes, right? But I'm just going to give a relatively tight risk about 1368 or even 1350, right? As long as it doesn't breach below this level, I think this name is safe. And I think this name is intact. And I'm going to hold on to this name just to see what it does. Now, this area happened. Let's put another trend line. Boom. That's actually a little bit scary. But when I was observing this, I actually found a couple of days interesting. This day, this hour had a little bit good amount of volume, actually scared me a little bit. But this bar actually closed green. What that means is doesn't matter what's the information out there in the market, the buyers still have the market. The buyers still intact and buyers slightly stronger. This day is when it really gets scary. I held on to my position. I was actually thinking about changing my stop loss to something like that. Let's put a horizontal line, 1300, just to give a little bit more room to see what this name does. Now I know that it's a high beta name, lots of volatility. It could just shake people out, and I don't really want to get shaken out of my position. So I held it up there, and boom! On this day, we had news that the company is going to do a stock split. Gap up immediately 8%, 7%, and now the stock is at all-time high. So the interesting thing about this name is when you're handling beta, a lot of times you're just really trading off noise. And when you're trading off noise, a couple of things you want to pay attention to. All this is empirical. There's no theoretical stuff. There's no science. You probably can't prove anything, right? You probably don't know what's the reason. You're trading off noise. You're taking a shot. So let's just get that straight. And then second of all, you really want to pick an area where you're comfortable with the risk. And in this case, I picked 1300, which gives me about 50 points risk. per share. So that's a good amount of risk. But hey, I'm happy with that. Then I'm gonna take the trade. I wouldn't recommend this for everybody for leverage position, but for the kind of position that's perhaps a small percentage of your portfolio, hey, I say why not, right? And then the third thing is, once you understand the risk, you want to understand where does the liquidity comes in, right? This is $1,000 stock. There's not going to be a whole lot of liquidity. So what do I mean by that? So let's go back to daily chart. All right, let's start from here. And because this is going to be the area that the stock is going to start with some sort of correction. It's a small correction. It doesn't pull back a whole lot, but still, it's a small correction. So what are we looking at? Let's look at the volume. 15 million shares, 15 million shares, 16 million shares, 17 million shares. On this day, 18 million shares, 17 million shares, right? 16 million shares, 15 million shares. So on average, it's about 16 million shares, 17 million shares, okay? And then on this day, what is that? July 14th, July 13th, July 10th. On this day, what was that? July 7th, July 6th. So we're talking about perhaps 10, 20 days of time period with an average of 16 million shares being exchanged hands. So what that means is somebody bought 16 million shares a day and somebody sold 16 million shares a day for almost 20 days straight. That's about 320 million shares out there. And this stock is 1,400. So together, if you're thinking this as Texas Hold'em, then we're talking about a pot in a table with a total amount of $2 billion. That's insane. Essentially, somebody sold billions of dollars of worth of this stock in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I mean, that's crazy. Now, I know you guys are all brave and have deep pockets, but now you're talking about shorting billions of dollars of worth of stock that has almost no liquidity whatsoever. So that's not going to be something I want to do. That's going to be something I want to take the opposite of the position, right? So when this stock goes up, eventually it will, oftentimes because of news triggering the price movement, and boom, the stock just going to go to the moon like it's sitting on SpaceX rocket. So there you go. I hope you liked today's episode. If you want to support the channel, give it a like and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next episode.